All right, welcome to LWN Network. I am your host, LW. Tonight's special guest, Jeff B. He's in the waiting room with us tonight. So we are going to talk about, do you know what the auto pin is? We're going to bring that up tonight. We're going to talk about that at the end of the show, so stay tuned for that. We're also going to talk about the Biden administration and the fraud. They've found some more stuff. They keep digging it up. Jamie White, Alex Jones, reporter, was found murdered outside of his home today, and we're going to talk about a whole lot more with Jeff B. right after this intro.
You can see it in the sky. No use running, if you do, you won't survive. People are sick and people are tired, but inside of me rages a fire. We the people are going to burn this corruption to the ground. Yeah, we the people will fight fire with fire starting now. Going to burn this corruption to the ground. Yeah, we the people will fight fire with fire starting now. Gonna watch them run, gonna watch it burn, gonna watch it all come down. Yeah, we the people are gonna burn this corruption to the ground. With fire starting now. Oh, gonna watch them run, gonna watch it burn, gonna watch it all come down, yeah.
All right, welcome back to LWN Network, and we are still trying to work out some of the technical difficulties with having a new computer. We got a new computer last night. We got it all set up. So I know that sometimes the intro is a little distorted and loud, so we're still trying to work on that. My mic is hot, and so just give us some feedback there in the chat if you guys wouldn't mind, so that we can try to correct those problems. So appreciate that. Of course, Jeff B is with us tonight. We got a lot to cover. We're going to talk about what the auto pin is. We're going to talk about more corruption found referring to the Biden administration. We're also going to talk about Alex Jones, reporter, that was found murdered outside of his home today, and much, much more. Jeff has got a lot to talk about tonight. I also want to say real quickly to Carlene and Chase, thank you so much for the coffees. They already started the show off before we even went live with buying us coffees, and they said this is for the best is yet to come. So appreciate that. Carlene and Chase, they're some of our wonderful mods. They dropped the link there in chat. Anytime you guys want to help us out, help LWN Network out to continue to grow and be successful, It takes a lot to put this show on. I got a lot of money wrapped up in equipment, a lot of money in software, internet. I got producers now, multiple producers helping us put this thing together. So anything that you guys can do to help us and support this channel is much appreciated, whether it's buy me a coffee, super chat over there in Rumble. You can buy us, you can do super chats in Rumble now. The stars are not working on Facebook yet, nor do we have super chat in YouTube. So the only way really to help support us at this moment is just buy us a coffee, or there's other means too if you want to reach out to me. So we are going to have an amazing show tonight. I'm going to go ahead and bring Jeff B out. We got some video clips to play tonight as well when we get to that point. But Jeff, you and I have been talking the last couple of days on the phone, and just so many things. The big chair's been contacting you and letting you know certain little things, and just the corruption that continues to be discovered and uncovered, and just so much going on. It's hard to keep up. We said this a million times. We could be 24/7 and never really cover everything that's going on. So tonight we're going to start with the corruption and the Biden family, the Biden administration, the previous administration, and the things that have been uncovered just in the last 24 hours, last 48 hours. How are you doing this evening, sir? And what amazing time to be alive.
Yeah, I'm doing great. Yeah, this this new pharmaceutical scandal is pretty interesting. It was broke by the Wall Street Journal this morning that there was a fictitious pharmaceutical company that was set up, and staffers within the Biden administration had funneled upwards of $255 million into this fictitious company that Treasury, I believe it was 3 weeks ago, had uncovered.
And you know, people say we're crazy about this stuff, and I don't know. The more that the more days that go by, the more that it comes out, and we see this stuff. I mean, it's in the Wall Street Journal. Not saying that everything they put out is fact or anything like that, but you know, it just seems like there's more and more stuff that keeps. It's like peeling the onion, right? Peeling the layers of the onion away, and you just keep getting deeper and deeper, and it keeps stinking more and more every time we get another layer. And the Wall Street Journal putting that out, that's $255 million. That's a lot of money in a fraudulent pharmaceutical company. We all know that the Biden crime family, and I'm going to call them that because that's exactly what they are. We talked about Russia, the hoax during the first term of President Trump, and all that nonsense, the two impeachments that failed miserably. But then you go into Hunter Biden and his laptop, and we go into Hunter Biden and Burisma. They're in the Ukraine and the Chinese connections that they have as well. Joe Biden even saying, caught on camera, saying that he wanted the prosecutor in the case there in Ukraine where they're going to prosecute Hunter Biden fired, or you're not going to get the $6 billion from America. And damn it, they made that happen. So so much corruption. And Hunter Biden, let's dive in that for just a quick minute. Hunter Biden graduated high school, went to a little bit of college, and then ends up on the board in a Ukrainian what was it, natural gas or
Burisma.
Yeah, and he was sitting on the board, and he was selling connections to his father for that money, and they kept referring to Joe Biden as the big guy. I mean, I think it was something like, and this was put out by the book that was written by the investigator, and I can't remember the name of the book. I apologize for that, but it was something like $5 million the Biden family collected off of that deal, if I'm not mistaken, Jeff.
Well, that they've uncovered.
Yeah, that they've uncovered, but here's another $255 million.
Right. This is his staffers. This wasn't Joe Biden. This was the people who worked in the White House as staffers. So these are your
cabinet members?
No. These are like clerks.
Okay.
That, basically run the daily White House. They set up a fictitious company and ran 255 million of your tax dollars into this fund.
You know, a lot of people are upset, Jeff, about Doge and about all
Right.
the stuff that we're uncovering. I don't know how any American could be pissed off at the fact that they're uncovering corruption and they're uncovering our tax dollars. And I work my ass off. I work 60 hours a week. They take 32% of my check for taxes, and I'm pissed. Like I'm working to provide for my family, and they're taking part of my 32% and they're funneling it into these offshore accounts and these made up pharmaceutical accounts. They're sending $360 billion over to the Ukraine. And then we talked earlier today, and I know this is off subject, but we talked earlier today about a call you received this afternoon and the weaponry that's down on our southern border that, well, I mean, Trump's been bragging about it now for probably about 2 weeks, how he sent these missiles to the Ukraine to help them protect themselves against Russia. And now we're finding them on our southern border. And we hear now that the Ukraine has been selling the military arms that the United States taxpayer has sent to them. Right. And they've been selling them for pennies on the dollar. And that's, to me, it just kills me. I'm working my ass off so that this corruption continues.
Well, yeah, the report that's I'm not sure if it's been made public yet, but it's coming out of the DIA, which is a Defense Intelligence Agency, that they found javelin containers. So once you shoot the javelin, you know, it's a kind of looks like a shoulder fire missile, and the DIA has submitted a report to the IG that some troops, our troops that were down in El Paso, that, you know, they took pictures and sent it off. So in the serial numbers match to what was sent over to help liberate Ukraine.
Yeah, well, again, I know people are confused and don't understand and frustrated and mad about a lot of things that have been happening in the last 8 weeks. And I personally would like to see the truth. And
Right.
and as they uncover this stuff, I think America and Americans should see what's going on and see what's going on with their tax money. I think it's very important that they're told the truth. And I'm no fool. I know we're lied to by both sides. It's not just the left. We're lied to by the right as well. But here's the difference between conservatives or people, I guess. Well, I'm going to say me. I'm not going to talk for you or anyone else listening tonight. I'm going to talk for me. Right. The difference between me and a lot of other podcasters and a lot of other people on the left is I have zero problem calling out both sides. I have zero problem saying that I'm pissed off at Donald Trump for COVID-19 and for Operation Warp Speed. Absolutely pissed about that. He needs to take responsibility for it, own it, and let's move on. But see, I'll call him out. I'll call Mitch McConnell out. I'll call Lindsey Graham out. I'll call any of the right out. It does not matter. If they're corrupt, if they're doing things that they shouldn't be doing, I'll call them out. But what separates me from people on the other side is I hear them talk trash all the time about Donald Trump's cabinet, and this, that, and the other, Doge, Elon Musk. Never once, ever hear them ever call the left out. And to me, that doesn't give them credit with me. If you can't call out even your own side and the corruption, because Joe Biden is a lying son of a bitch. He's been caught thousands of times lying. He's lied about his college education. He's lied about his diplomas from college. He's lied about how he got to college. He lied about he's even guilty of plagiarism. Right. Kamala Harris, lie. But yet again, what separates me from these other people is they won't call those guys out. They never have. They never will. They will only be Trump haters. And so I lose respect for people who can't call out both sides that are corrupt. And we have them. They're out there. So I'm kind of getting off subject here tonight.
Well,
so
In the way I look at it is, I don't care if you're left side of the aisle, right side of the aisle. If you've stolen from the American people,
Yeah.
you need to swing. Period. I don't care if it's Jim Jordan, any of them. Well, I mean, you just look at the math. The average congressional salary, I'm just going to pull a number, 174,000 a year. In the 4 years, you don't become a multimillionaire.
No.
So you're receiving a lot of money from some, and they're all guilty of it.
Well, Facebook has been censoring me personally on my personal page. I put stuff out about that, Jeff. I put stuff out that it shows what they make and what they're worth. And I've been taken down by the fact checkers
Right.
that my information is false, that's not true. And here we go again. We're being censored for putting out truth. And Nancy Pelosi, Adam Schiff, Schumer, Mitch the McConnell, Lindsey Graham. I don't care who it is. They are definitely, in my opinion, getting kickbacks or something to be that wealthy. Matt Gaetz, Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't give a damn who it is. If they're stealing from the American people, if they are operating less than truthful and honest to the American people, I will call them out. But I don't hear anybody on the left calling the left out. They just talk shit about the right. They talk about Trump. They talk about tariffs. They talk about his policies and how horrible it is and all this other stuff. Well, and start calling out the left when they're wrong too. And then I'll have more respect for you. Other than that, you're just a mouthpiece for the left.
Well, in somewhat, it's almost like a sickness. It really is. And you're so tunnel visioned that you only believe this side's right or this side's right. Just like the whole Ukraine nonsense. My personal opinion is we shouldn't even be in this. I don't care about the agreements we signed, none of that. Because for the longest time, the other side of the aisle was, make peace, not war. Well, Trump doesn't want anything to do with this. But now, they're all saying we got to, they all got their fucking Ukrainian flags on their Facebook pages and all this stuff. Pack up and go. I mean, if you really care about that country and those people, pack up and go fight.
I'm tired of my tax dollars going there.
Absolutely.
And I didn't vote on it. And
right.
It's been proven that we've sent them more than enough money, and they continue to ask for more money. And Putin's the bad guy. And listen, I don't lean one way or another. I don't look at Putin being a good guy, and I don't look at Putin being a bad guy. I don't look at Zelensky being a good guy. If nothing else, I think he's taken advantage of the situation of us sending money there and lined his own pockets. But I really don't care what's going on over there. Let them figure it out, like
That's
the Middle
your
East.
Problem.
Yeah, like the Middle East. They've been fighting for centuries. Like let them figure it out themselves. Let's take care of us first, and then worry about them. And Kathy H., you're right. It's $360 billion that we've sent to Ukraine, and they want more. And I disagree. I disagree about sending my tax money there. If other people here in America want to send money, then get Zelensky's Cash App and send him all the money you want. I don't want to send any more of my money. Let's look at a couple of these articles about the Biden administration and the stuff that's popped up. I'm going to bring a couple of these articles up. So Doge committee, and I know we got to try to figure out the layout here. So just be patient with us, folks. This is all new software. We haven't had a chance to really figure out how this layout's going to work the best. There we go. Okay, so Doge subcommittee uncovers $2.7 trillion in Medicaid, Medicare payments. Now, a lot of people disagree with this. A lot of people are saying that this isn't true, but yet here we are talking about Medicaid, Medicare, Trump even said it in the speech last week, Jeff B., about people that are dead still receiving benefits, still receiving checks. There's stuff going overseas. Like, I think if nothing else, I would think that Democrats could at least agree with me that this Medicaid and Medicare could be a place for corruption. And let me tell you why. Because I have known personally a couple of young men when I was younger. Obviously, I'm 50 now, but in our 20s, hurt their backs and was collecting disability checks. And then they were also out there, two of them actually, and then they were out there hanging drywall under the table, working for cash, screwing the government, getting those disability checks, and plus getting paid under the table. And they made a shit ton of money. They were driving nice trucks. So you can't tell me, out of the millions and millions, hundreds of millions of people here in America, that is not an opportunity or a place for corruption to happen. And that was just a little small grain of sand compared to what's really going on, right, Jeff?
Right. Well, the amazing thing with all of this corruption that Doge is coming up with, Trump's been in office, 2 months?
Yeah. 8 weeks, I think.
That's pretty fast for, even if you're using quantum computing.
Oh, I think they already knew about all this.
I think it's been going on I think it's been going on since Trump's first term. Mm-hmm. Because I know some guys that were in the project phase of doing quantum computing and introducing AI into it and what effects it would have. So I think this has been going on for a number of years. And while the Biden administration was in, there was kind of like what people call a shadow government going on. And personally, I don't think Elon is actually head of Doge. I think he's the face of it. It just somebody to put out there. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. This should make it, and it shouldn't even matter what side of the aisle. This should piss people off. Mm-hmm. Because everybody has elderly parents or grandparents that at some time needed some sort of help and probably were denied. Well, here you go.
I agree. Kathy H's comment is they'll find enough to wipe out the debt. I'm going to comment on that here in a second, but here's what I want to say. We are staring down the barrel of, what are we at? Like 36? Are we at 36 or 37 trillion dollars in debt?
Yeah,
right.
Some astronomical number.
And I think I heard one gentleman say something like, we might, if we're lucky, have about 9 trillion left to go before we're too far gone, right? And so I think it's a crisis right now. In my opinion, the national debt is a crisis. We are in a crisis stage, and I think that Doge, the Trump administration, trying to go in there and find ways to balance the budget. I mean, we haven't had a budget balance since, I think, Bill Clinton is the last time we had a balanced budget. I think it's critical for us to have a balanced budget. I think it's critical for us to find waste. I think it's critical for us to figure out a way to cut the national debt down. And if there is wasteful spending all over the place and trillions of dollars, I think Elon Musk went on record and said something like, by this time next year, we could see no inflation, and they could knock over $1 trillion off of the debt. But a trillion is nothing. A trillion is nothing compared to 36.7 trillion is what Kathy H is putting out there. Because, I mean, every second that goes by is millions of dollars of interest. We are now, I think, I haven't seen the numbers in a while, but I believe we're paying over $1 trillion in interest every year. It's just like any personal finance or any business finance that you have. Once you get to a certain point where you're paying more in interest than what your balance is, and you are paying more in interest than you can even afford, you go bankrupt, right?
Right. Well, and here's the thing with that. There is this whole thing is starting, and this is getting into what we had talked about earlier with Schumer coming out and saying Friday they're not going to do a CR, a continuing resolution, and government's going to shut down Friday. Okay, and then I sent you the image from Navy Federal Credit Union,
Yep.
where they're already putting out there the government's going to shut down Friday.
Yeah, that you might want to pull some money out of
Yep.
your account. You might need it, and I did see that with my own eyes.
And
It did say that on that bank statement, and it was just like 2 days ago. It said possibility of government shutting down. You might want to pull some money out.
and they're doing the paycheck where if you have direct deposit, Navy Federal is going to cover your check, so you're not going to be stuck, but you have to file the paperwork for it. So they're encouraging Navy Marines to go ahead and get this started. And when I sent it to somebody, he looked at it and he's like, yeah, I've never, because he's been through several attempted shutdowns. He's like, I've never seen them do this before. And I think this is all a setup for something bigger that's going to come. I mean, the market.
Well, let's
Sure.
talk about it. I've been so against this. I've been so against even you uttering these words.
I know.
Okay, I'm saying this to you guys, and Kathy H and other people are telling me it's going to happen. But let's just talk about it, because it's very strange how some stuff are starting to align.
Yep.
And we can say it, Nasara Dasara. I still don't believe, but what I do believe is that there's some opportunity there for major change. Now you can call it whatever you want, but I mean, talk about it, Jeff. There's some things that you're seeing that's starting to line up, and here's the debt clock right here that we're looking at, right?
Right.
U.S. national debt is at $36.58 trillion, and it is ticking by so fast. It's insane, and that to me is a crisis. I think when Trump got out of office, we're at what, 32 trillion, something like
Right.
that, and we have just increased by $5 trillion in 4 years. That's over $1 trillion a year, and it's going faster and faster and faster. We'll get to a place where it's just, we're done. And
Right.
then what does that mean? So,
Well, like I had told you earlier, I have a big skeptic in my family, one of my siblings. And, I had told him, the country was filed bankrupt. And, she's like, you're conspiracy theorist. I said, no, I'm going to show you where to go read the documents in a federal court. And I don't know how they're going to break this to the American people, because it's in federal court. The country in 2017 was filed bankrupt, and it was dissolved, and the debt was paid off by means. And I know I showed you the wire transfers that I had received. Just today, they shut down 170 IRS offices. They shut them down. Told them that you're closed. And these were the processing centers. So that was shut down. What was it? Tuesday night at 6 o'clock. Department of Education, they closed. Everyone had to leave the building, and today they were closed all day. So there's something going on with the Department of Education. And then they had Linda McMahon on talking about it, and she was kind of beating around the bush. You could definitely tell she was coached on what to say and what not to say. I think there's going to be a gold reevaluation, to where, because everyone said gold's way undervalued. So I'm not sure if that's going to be through an executive order or how it's going to happen, but they're going to have to come up with some way to explain to the American people how there is no debt. Because once, what I believe, and this is just my personal belief, just from what I read and people I know in Treasury, stock markets, there's going to be a pause and suspension issued by Treasury. Is that going to correlate with a government shutdown? That would be the most realistic. Government shuts down and then the market goes nuts, and Treasury recommends that the president halt trading, and then Treasury executes that order. But we talked earlier that, Trump only has 4 years. And if Trump is lying, and they haven't been able to catch him in a lie yet, right? Everything that he's hinted to or has said is starting to come to fruition. If he's lying and he sold people a bill of goods, take care of him. But there's too many things aligning that even I thought was, going to be crazy. And a lot of people are now seeing that, okay, you're going from the IRS to the ERS. So you're not going to tax. All that's kind of aligning to a new economic system.
So there's so much going on. Tariffs, the dissolvement of the IRS, possible reset on debt, the American people getting $5,000, $8,000 per person in your household back, not taxing your not just overtime taxes and Social Security, but they're also talking about doing away with your federal income tax, right? And stuff like that. So this is just me. My mind is just, it's scrambled with all the stuff that's going on. There's just so much going on. I have no idea how this is going to play out. I'm not making any predictions. I'm not giving any dates. I'm not telling anybody anything other than there is just so much going on, and there's no way. So this is what I want to say about the shadow government. There's no way that this was planned, 2 months before Trump took the office back. This stuff. So to me, shadow government means that for 4 years, when Joe Biden was in office or in the White House or wandering around sniffing hair and licking ice cream cones, that to me, shadow government means that Trump and all these people were sitting there planning a lot of this stuff, I've said this before, making game plans, and lining people out. So as soon as we get inaugurated, as soon as we take office, you're hitting the ground doing this, you're hitting the ground, all the surprise that came with Doge. Right. That's what I feel. That's my interpretation of a shadow government. Some people will say he was still president, was always president, blah, blah, blah. That's cool. If you want to believe that, that's fine. But this took a lot of planning. This maybe probably even more than 4 years, in my opinion. I think there's going to be some major shifts, major changes here in America, whether you like it or you don't. It's going to happen, and I pray it's for the better. I think there's going to be some growing pains. I think people are. I think there's always going to be casualties, right? There's no way that you can come up with a perfect plan and that it doesn't affect somebody in a negative way. And I talked about that last night when we were doing the test. I see Sage back in chat again tonight, and I know that he's been affected negatively on some of these policy changes, and he's not the only one. I very well could be affected negatively in some of these policy changes as well. It can shut down some of the big jobs that I'm needing to happen in my life to pay the bills. And if I lose those jobs, I won't be happy with that. And I know I saw a comment last night where one of our viewers was having a hard time getting a hold of somebody in Social Security. There's a negative impact. Now, was it because they've cut people? I don't know. I have no idea. But, it's just so much. It's like we talked about years and years and years ago, drip, 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 garden hose, fire hose. We haven't even got to the fire hose yet, but it's a lot of information to process in a short amount of time. And we talked about this the other day. Trump has only got less than 4 years. He's got to move quick.
Right. Well, and then there was another, for people who've been affected, that no matter what side of the aisle are, over the last 4 years in the economy, making your mortgage. Well, the story come out that the previous administration was hiding foreclosures, and that not the IRS, the federal government was paying some of people's defaults and rolling the defaults and the interest back to the end of the to the term in order to stabilize the economy. That's another thing that, and I'm sure it's happened in other administrations before, but now all this is starting to come to light. So whether you're a Republican, Democrat, Independent, Communist, whatever you wave your flag to, the tariffs is going to affect my businesses. There's no doubt, because some of the companies that we purchase from are Chinese based, or other country based, and you're going to have to pass that on to the end customer. But do I think they're going to go fully into effect? I don't know. I think it may be a tactic that's going to be used. But what a lot of people have to realize, the IRS hasn't always been there. We funded the country based on tariffs when we first started. So if that's the route we're going, it's going to be a change. But then that could bring into why this possible new economic system is coming. And there's so many warning signs there that, you can make the pieces fit. But I think this mortgage thing that they were discussing is going to make the 2008 look like a picnic in the housing bubble. It's that big.
That's not good news, because
No.
I lost a lot in 2008. I didn't lose my home. I got out right before the bubble burst, but I know a lot of my friends, family lost their homes in that mortgage crisis. And the federal government made $236 billion of improper payments last fiscal year. It can't be denied that there's things going on. A lot of it, all of it's out of our control.
Right.
We're just along for the ride. But talking about the tariffs, I mean, the Internal Revenue Service was created back in 1913, if I'm not mistaken. And yes, this country was tariff based before the Internal Revenue Service. So it's been done before. Can it be done again? I believe it can. Is it going to work out for everybody? Are we going to have to pay higher prices on items? I would imagine, yeah. The answer is yes to that. We are going to have to pay more. Is it going to spike and then level off and come back down? I have no idea. I'm not an economist. I'm not an expert. I have no idea. But I do know this. I'm tired of paying 32% of my check, and anything that they can do to alleviate some of that pressure from the American people, from single families, from the hardworking Americans in this country that deserve better than that. What we've been doing for the last 30, 40, 50 years, 112 years, I'm ready for a change. I'm willing to try something different, because what we're doing and what we've been doing don't frickin' work, and that's where I again differ from other people. They are so embedded in what we have been taught, what we've been doing for eons now, that they don't want any change. I've changed jobs, I've changed careers, I've changed homes, I've moved. I've had a lot of change in my life. And let me tell you something. Change is scary, because you're going into the unknown. But if you want to know how to really grow as a person, grow as an individual, you have to go through those uncomfortable moments, that change, to get stronger And I think that's what America needs. We need change because we didn't vote Donald Trump in to be status quo. We didn't vote him in to keep doing what politicians have been doing for decades. We voted him in because he is an outsider, because he is a businessman. And I disagree when people say that this country shouldn't be ran as a business. It should be ran as a business. It is a business. And we shouldn't be just letting politicians come in and do whatever the hell they want when they want and spend what they want and line their own pockets. It should be, they should all be held accountable, the left and the right, and it should be ran as a business. And we've just allowed this to go on for so long that people are scared to death of change. I get it. Okay. I understand. I'm concerned about change too, but I'm willing to give it a shot. Worst case scenario, Jeff B, is we try it and it doesn't work. And we all know we can go back to the same shit we've been dealing with for the last 100 years. That's not hard to change it right back to the same old shit. You want the same old politicians doing the same old shit? Fine. You can flip that switch pretty quick and get right back to it. But to really go through the change and be able to grow as a nation, as a person, it's going to be tough. It's not going to be easy, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, and, and if you don't like it, you could do like Rosie O'Donnell just did. She packed her bags and moved to Ireland.
Yeah, well, that's an option. Yes, Biden spent millions on transgender animal experiments.
Can't make it up.
You can't make it up. And here's and this is White House, March 5th, 2025. Here's the other thing that I always get, I don't know,
pissed off at.
Well, I try not to get mad. I try to just look at the situation. So we got people who pull information from left-leaning organizations, and they say that that's fact and that's truth. And I pull stuff from right-leaning places, and they say that it's a lie. Okay, how come your information's true and mine's a lie? We're all being lied to.
Yeah, exactly.
But just because you're pulling your stuff from a different source than me doesn't mean my shit's not true and yours is always right. I mean, I don't know. It's frustrating to try to put out good, honest information, and I want to be as objective as I possibly can and try to get both sides and not just be on one side all the time like an echo chamber. And I just ask other people, if you're going to put out information, I want to help. I want to help everybody find the truth, and it's really hard. So here's some of the things that we saw on the screen here. President Donald J. Trump in the White House. This is coming from the White House, and the information that's being put out, like $2.5 million in reproductive consequences on steroid hormone administration. Just a lot of stuff, a lot of money. You're seeing all those numbers there on the screen. A lot of money going to a lot of places that I don't think any honest American out there would say, yes, I voted for that. And yes, I agree with us sending that money and doing these experiments and sending this money to this country and sending this money to that country. We didn't vote on that shit. I don't think it's right for them to spend that money, Jeff B. It's
right.
It's $8.2 million, all calculated right there, that they've sent this money all over the damn place.
Right. Well, think of this. You take this little small funding stream, right, and you amplify it by all this other spending. Take all that money that's generated in 1 year and then apply the Alaskan model, right, to where residents of Alaska, based on oil production, they get a check. Okay. The profits. This is where I think you're going to see what's referred to as NASAR. All this streamlined budgeting. There ain't no one's going to get $1 million check. But I think those payments that were being sent out was a trial run for what we're going to see, I would say, within a year and a half, maybe even less than, and I know you don't like dates, but there's been a lot of hints towards July 4th of next year, going into the golden age. Do I hope it happens? Absolutely. No matter what side of the aisle on, no matter what your beliefs on, if you're an American citizen, you've been ripped off just like I have from both sides of the aisle. When you were talking about the budget, I like Bill Clinton. I worked in that White House under that guy, and I thought he was great. Loved the guy, and then some of the stuff he was getting ready to do.
Did you like his wife?
No, absolutely not. And you know that. I've told you stories about that. But when he would work across the aisle with Newt Gingrich, and then, just to show my bipartisanship, I thought it was dirty at the time what the Republicans did to him with the Monica Lewinsky scandal to divert the American attention from what Clinton was trying to do. That's just, I look at it from an American. Me personally, yeah, I like Donald Trump. I like what he's doing. But if he's not doing right by the American people, then, I'll call it out just like you would.
I voted for Bill Clinton the second term because I did not like the person that I think it was Bob Dole.
Yes.
That was running for president against Bill Clinton.
Correct.
And I did not like Bob Dole, so I voted for Bill Clinton. I try to vote for the person I feel is going to do the best job for America and best job for me. Doesn't matter if they have an R or D. Now, I've never voted more than one time for a Democrat. That was Bill Clinton. Is the only one I've ever voted for. Now, a lot of people try to say that the Clinton administration, things were good under the Clinton administration. They were for me personally. Correct. But then they give the credit to Newt Gingrich and for the Republicans running the House and the Senate at that time. Now, did they have a lot to do with it? Sure. But I believe Bill Clinton had some to do with it. Did he make some major mistakes? Absolutely. He made some really horrible ones. Here's a new report out that 2 years of the Biden-Harris administration's fraud-ridden parole program. So more corruption, more stuff out there that's out there. This press release was November 20th of 2024. So it was either right before or right after the election. Biden-Harris administration has also approved supporter applications for more than 80,000 aliens who are not even residing in any of the CHNV countries. So just stuff that I think that we should, again, hold both sides accountable for this stuff. Now, they opened the borders day one and allowed illegals to cross our border, and now we got the exact opposite. Day one, he sends the National Guard and the military down to the southern border, locks it down, and now I think I read something today where they've arrested over 33,000 illegals since the 8 weeks that he's been in office. So now we've got an extreme on the other side of things, cleaning things up. It's just back and forth, power struggle back and forth, Jeff.
Well, Mike, and when you point this out, this is where I think it's not sexy in what we think is going to happen, but I've discussed this with you several times. I think where they're going to get a lot of these business leaders, people in Wall Street, people in government is on RICO. All of this corruption, if there's anything to it, and it's my opinion, there's more than enough circumstantial evidence that shows that this is going to come to a head really quick. And there, people that believe like you and I, and other people who don't believe like you and I, they're going to be rocking in the corner. And I'd said that from the first time we started doing this, that there's going to be, at some point, there's going to be people that aren't going to be able to admit they were duped.
I agree. Let's shift gears and go
Sure.
to let's go to Alex Jones and his reporter that was found dead outside of his home this morning. I think we also have a video clip on this. We're going to listen to this. I know that you had given me your perspective of this earlier this afternoon. We'll hear about it in just a minute, but we'll listen to this video clip. If you guys, we just installed a new computer last night. Can you give us a 5x5 as soon as the producer starts playing this, so that we know that you guys can actually hear this news broadcast, please? And I'll go ahead and be quiet, and we'll see about playing this. We'll try anyway. Shouldn't have any problems with the internet. Kathy H says murdered Sunday night, shot in the neck. We'll try her again. I don't hear anything.
No.
No sound. Huh. I don't know. That might be something we have to work on.
Well, it looks like it's on their end.
We had it.
Yeah.
We had it working before I changed computers. But anyway, let's just talk about it. InfoWars reporter shot in the head outside of his home. Kathy's saying that it's Sunday night. So, it's unfortunate. I honestly, I feel like there are a lot of people, including Trump himself, that are very, very lucky that there's not more of this going on. And I'm shocked. I think we talked about Kash Patel the other day, how
Right.
he's requested private security because he doesn't trust what's going on in the FBI right now. But is this a sign of what's to come? What are your thoughts on why did Jamie White potentially lose his life?
Well, I talked to a couple people that I know, not that's involved in that case, but what their thoughts were. And they had heard and unable to confirm that he was getting ready to release a very big story. And it was going to start to point out some political people on both sides of the aisle that have done some very nefarious things. And then once he was executed, murdered, whatever you want to call it, I seen a news article shortly after I'd got off the phone with you where Alex Jones is now had requested some sort of protection. And they're controversial characters. I've never seen his reporter, but I know Alex Jones. I mean, he's controversial.
Oh, absolutely.
But when we get to a point to where we stifle somebody's speech, whether I like it or don't like it, that's the issue. And, when you touched on Kash Patel, that request, there was a couple other requests that, were made by that office. And I told you years ago, when the FBI was being shut down in D.C. and being moved, and certain individuals that I knew on the 7th floor that were shifting out of the FBI. I mean, I've known them for years, are good guys. And once, the writing was on the wall, they knew, in closed door meetings that certain things were taking place. So, money talks, and money corrupts a lot of people. So,
well, this reporter could have been releasing more corruption, or it could also pertain to the Epstein files,
Or
which
Ukraine.
yeah, or Ukraine, and I'm still upset, and I don't even want to get into Epstein tonight, but I'm still pretty upset that we haven't seen a list yet. And you know, is it because they're having to hold back because there's certain people on that list? I think we
Right.
talked about that earlier today. That's definitely a possibility. But I don't want to get into Epstein tonight because that's just a lot to cover, and we're running up here on 55 minutes. I want to get to me the most exciting part of tonight, and that's the auto pen. We can get into some conspiracy now,
Right.
but the auto pen that is something that's been breaking, and I find it super interesting. So there, we talked about one of two things it could be, right? We could talk about, and I'll let you explain the two theories behind the auto pen because I like it when you give it, Jeff. But when I first heard about this, I was just sitting there shaking my head, going, "Are you shitting me?" Like, we knew that something was going on in that White House, but which is it, or is it both of them, right? So I'm gonna let Jeff B go ahead and explain to you guys what the auto pin is and what the two theories are that are behind it.
So the way it's being presented is uh, the auto pen is just a signature that's automatically drafted. It's not physically signed by, we'll say, President Biden. Um, so when I was speaking with somebody yesterday about it, because I seen a press release that came out of Clarence Thomas's office, and the comment was made that this could be a very serious issues on two ends, and they didn't get into it too much. So, one, the crazy conspiracy theory is okay because you remember when it was brought up, and I don't even know the timeline when a reporter had asked about the signature. This was probably into year 2, year 3, and they had brought up and they had said live on air that, well, that doesn't even look like Joe Biden's signature. So, I think we've been shown stuff through this whole phase on the conspiracy side. And if that wasn't Joe Biden, that would explain an auto signature. But if you go to the other side where, okay, it's Joe Biden, dementia, whatever, cognitive decline.
Mm-hmm.
So you're propping this guy up. And now the issue, because I've always said that if what we believe is going on, there's going to be a major constitutional crisis that happens. And I think we maybe not this, but something is in the works. And if there was a cognitive decline and cabinet members knew that there was a serious cognitive decline and they didn't do the 25th Amendment and, relieve of his command, because militarily, the Joint Chiefs and the military can only accept an order from the President of the United States. Can't come from the VP. They are not authorized to give it, and the military can't accept it. So that's one issue. Now, if it isn't his signature, or if it wasn't him, where does that leave constitutionally? Now, I've heard certain legal scholars say if the ending parties believe that was his signature, then that's good enough. And, the bad faith, the good faith, this is going to, and what I brought up to you is that I've noticed now with Trump, and I don't know if it happened during his first term or not. Anytime Trump does an executive order now, you always see the camera zoom in on that big Sharpie when he signs, almost like pointing it out, look, it's me signing this.
Mm-hmm.
So is there something to that? Possibly. But the thing that got me when this story first came out was when that reporter saying, is that really Joe Biden's signature? Makes you wonder, really does. And I don't, if this was Joe Biden and it was a cognitive decline, all those cabinet members need to be held accountable if there was something wrong with the man. Me personally, I've seen, and I know personally, and I pointed out to you today with the RNC Secret Service detail and the Las Vegas Joe Biden Secret Service detail. One of those didn't happen live. So there was something.
We both know which one it was.
Yes. Yeah, because when you don't have an audience, you don't have witnesses.
Mm-hmm.
So we definitely know there was something going on. Now it's just a matter of whether whoever was in charge of, and all you have to do is go through and read the executive orders. Everything's spelled out in the Trump administration, what is going to happen. We just didn't understand it at the time.
Let's talk about that executive order that we brought up this afternoon before we get out of here. Because that's me personally. I know a lot of people think that there's parts being played.
Correct.
Maybe there is. I don't know, but I believe Joe Biden is definitely just a vegetable. Was a vegetable for 4 years, and in my opinion, does that him signing anything, does that make it null and void? My biggest thing is, does that make the pardons null and void? Right. So if he signed any of that stuff or whoever, it's strange to me and
Right.
very weird. So
Well, I'm not a YouTube constitutional scholar like there are some, quite a few. But my understanding and take of it is you can be pardoned, but treason is not trumps over,
yeah,
a pardon. So if you committed a treasonous act against, the Constitution, the American people, a pardon doesn't mean nothing.
that could spell trouble for a lot of people, including Fauci and including the Biden family.
And why wouldn't you pardon yourself? Because you kept reissuing those executive orders that would have toppled you. Was that auto pen? So I mean, and Clarence Thomas, he basically come out and said this is an issue because
conservative cowboy just pretty much said what I was talking about. Said that all Biden's pardons that are issued on future crimes or pardoning people that have not been convicted or indicted are unconstitutional or void.
Right.
So for the conspiracy theorists out there, did they do that on purpose to signal something? I don't know.
Right.
I'm not there. So was it just a blunder? I think, honestly, it was on kind of both purpose and a blunder and just a fool's errand.
Well, yeah, I think it was the architecture for a constitutional issue. And
constitutional crisis.
Right. Because, I mean, with Clarence Thomas calling out Amy Coney Barrett and the Chief Justice on some statements that they had made about it. And he made it for the record. So I don't know. It's going to be through the summer is going to be interesting.
I never imagined things would be so woven like they are now. I would have thought that little things would one happen here and one happen there, but it's like,
well,
it's a deep web.
Well, yeah. I mean, it definitely. I told you a long time ago, I think there's going to be stuff that's going to surprise me. And, there's been multitude of things that surprise me. But, my biggest fear, and I've told you what my biggest fear is Trump's a Trojan horse. And I don't think so, just by some of the people I know that surround him. They don't get that vibe. Mm-hmm. But, it's always in the back of your head.
Well, I don't discount anything. I am always trying to be head on a swivel because, like you, well, I'm a critic, and I know a lot of people hate that about me, but I don't just buy into just anything. I still try to logically think through it, and if it doesn't make sense to me, I'm not buying into it. But
Right.
I don't know. There's just so much stuff, and a lot of it seems to connect the dots for things from the past, right?
Correct.
Things that we've talked about. Holy shit, we have over 200 people watching tonight. Holy shit! Thanks for joining us tonight. We got like 185 people over on Rumble and another 82 here on Facebook and YouTube. So thanks for joining us tonight. Thank you for the coffees earlier tonight, Chase and Carlene. I can't say thank you enough for helping keep the lights on here with all the software and all the updates that we've done. So appreciate all that. But Jeff, this has been a great conversation tonight, and we really honestly haven't even scratched the surface. Like,
No.
to me, this is like coffee talk. We haven't even dove deep into any of this stuff like we used to. It's Kathy H says we love his skeptical. Well, I just like to ask. I just like to ask more questions, and that's what Sage does too, right? And he asks a lot of questions, and I can appreciate the questions that he asks, and I try to ask not the same questions, but similar questions from a different perspective. I really hope that I'm pleasantly surprised with a lot of stuff that's going on. I get excited when we start talking about tariffs, and again, I hope that they're gonna play a big part on positive impact on the American people and not just negative or only negative. That worries me.
Right.
And then talking about reducing our taxes and get to a place where maybe Americans can work one job, work 40 hours a week, and provide for their family without having to pick up a second and a third job, and mom and dad both having to work and working all the hours of overtime you possibly can get your hands on just to feed your kids. Like, that's not a life that we were supposed to live, in my opinion. That's not the life I feel like the founding fathers was trying to create here in America for us. They were getting away from the taxation. They didn't create a country that was supposed to go back to that taxation, and I feel that's the direction that we've gone.
Well, in going back to the tariff, people say tariffs don't work, right? Well, apparently the tariff talk has worked for Apple, because now Apple is committed to the White House that they're going to build plants in the United States and give jobs to the American people. So that worked. Like I said, whether they're fully employed or not, I think in some aspects they are, because they are building out the External Revenue Service. They are taking certain people from other government agencies and moving them into this. And I know that that's been going on for more than when Trump was in office. But that portion of it is work. We'll just have to see how it play. There's people that are a hell of a lot smarter than you or I that are doing this.
Pretty much everybody listening tonight's
absolutely, because I'm dumber than a box of frogs.
But the tariff talk, I mean, it has brought manufacturing back to America. Apple, $500 billion. That company from Taiwan, $100 or $160 billion coming back to America. So the tough talk on tariffs has brought manufacturing back to America. I think one of Sage's questions is we don't have the people to fulfill those jobs. I don't know. Could he be right? Sure. Could he be wrong? Absolutely, he can be wrong too. There's lots of people out there looking for a better job, and they said that these are going to be high-paying technical jobs. So I think that we do have people in America that are qualified to work those jobs, and those people would leave maybe middle type of jobs, and then the other people can fill those positions. I think I want to think like an optimist when it comes to that stuff, and not a pessimist about all the tariffs and all the tough talk. I do think that he's a great negotiator, and I think using tariffs can help negotiate. Now, I've heard things about Canada taking stuff off the shelves that is produced by Americans. And listen, America's
Go
been
ahead.
tariffed by damn near every country
Right.
in the world. So I don't know. Just
Well, you know, too, with totally lost my train of thought now.
well,
What
I
you were.
apologize. I apologize
Well,
for that.
well, no. What you said, was Sage was saying, you're not going to have people to fill these jobs, possibly. But it goes back to, you remember in Trump's first term when he said, and people just went absolutely crazy over it. College isn't for everyone. College is, if you're a doctor or attorney, want you in college. But we got away from the trade schools.
Correct. And I work in
So
the trades.
exactly. But I do know
And let me
there's
tell you, the trades are a good place to be, especially right now. The trades are a beautiful place for young men and women
right.
graduating high school that don't want a college to get in and not just have a job. It's a freaking career, and it's paying very well.
But
Matter
I
of fact, at times in my career, Jeff, I have made as much money as a general practitioner doctor.
right
I've had to work a lot of hours to get the money, but I'm
with a
telling you, it's
less
always
debt.
been good. Yeah, with no debt. I
Right.
mean, I think my entire education in the trades cost me $7,000, and I think that's a little high than what it really cost me. But $7,000 education, and my return right now is $200,000 a year. You know, and most of my career it's been over 100,000. And at times there were doctors that were making $89,000 a year when I was making 100, and they had a $200,000 education debt. So the trades is a good place to be.
Well, and I know where they can get a lot of employees from, because all these people that aren't filling out these OPM reports,
They're going to be looking for a job.
they're going to be looking for jobs. Right. They're 5 bullet points.
Let me say hello. Let me say hello to Birdman74 over in Rumble chat. There's a lot of people in Rumble tonight. Glad to see you guys. Warrior Forever, Birdman, Rosebud 15, and I know I'm missing a few. And then we have one question from God. I hope I pronounce this right. Twig Twister, and I know I made a mistake the other night. But Jeff, do you think the military is still in charge? That's a question that popped up over here in Rumble, and so me personally, I don't think so. But
no, I think if there was a shadow government, and basically reading through executive orders where it was laid out, my personal belief and would be that stopped at high noon on January 20th.
I'm gonna bring up one more topic real quick,
Sure.
and then we can get out of here. So I see a lot of. So this is for the left and the right. I see a lot of posts today, even maybe yesterday, about how egg prices have come down, gas prices have come down, inflation's coming down, and then I see other posts on the left that says that that's bullshit. I saw one comment in here about gas came down 10 cents. I can't remember who put that up there. Eggs are the same price, and gas has only come down 10 cents a gallon. So what are your thoughts on that, Jeff? Because, if we're gonna hold Donald Trump accountable, he did say day one,
yes,
the Ukraine war be over with.
Correct.
I know we got a ceasefire now. It's been 8 weeks later. And then he
Correct.
also said that the egg prices were going to come down, gas prices were going to come down, all this inflation's coming down as soon as he took office. And honestly, I think it takes a lot more than one day to make shit like that to happen.
Well,
but to all the people out there that are calling him a liar and saying that it's getting worse, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I can tell you from the time that he took, prior to him taking office, gas here was $3.69 a gallon, and today, when I looked, it was $2.79. So that's a 90-cent swing. Mm-hmm. Eggs, I couldn't tell you. I don't buy eggs. Really don't. When I do grocery shop, it's whatever it is what it is. I guess I'm in that position where I really don't have to worry about it. But yeah, I mean, there's no doubt Trump likes to bloviate and over exaggerate. But that's just him. I mean, he's done that for years.
Mhm.
But people are so triggered by it now. But the same people saying that won't call Biden out on his BS.
Correct.
Just,
And I believe that we will see those prices come down.
Oh,
I truly believe that you're going to see gas prices come down. I truly believe you're going
Right.
to see grocery prices come down. You're going to see some inflation definitely coming down. Now, some believe that if we open up drilling again, and I've worked in the oil field for a long time. I've worked through the good times and I've worked through the bad times. A lot of people believe if we drill, baby, drill,
Right.
it's gonna cause inflation and it's gonna cause gas prices to go up and not down. There's a lot to play when it comes to crude oil and natural gas and the oil and gas fields in Texas, North Dakota, Alaska, all over this country. I don't know. I've worked during the Bush administration, and times were good. I worked through the Obama administration. Times were horrible. I worked through the Trump administration. Times were great again. I started to work through the Biden administration, and it fucking tanked. Is there a method to all that stuff? Is that any kind of data for you? I don't know, but I can tell you that during Republican administrations, it was better. Now, again, a lot of things play a part in that. Exports, imports. I believe, and this is my own personal opinion, I believe that this country is going to buy everyone else's oil and burn up everyone else's oil before we use up all our own, because I feel like the last person standing holding that stuff controls the world, right? We can charge anything we want when everyone else is out of crude oil and out of natural gas.
Right.
And it's a battle between Ukraine and Russia. Russia's got natural gas. I mean, it's just a total other conversation, but
Well, it'll help our side of the aisle when we invade Canada and Greenland.
yeah, and take all
You
of
know,
that.
and if what we think or what I believe is going to happen with the monetary system, for all and this will be my final thought, and it'll probably piss some people off, but that's all right. If there is gratuity checks or whatever, and if you thought that, it was all BS, just do me one favor. Make sure you send those checks back. Don't cash them.
Send all those checks back. That's not going to happen.
Right.
I haven't seen. So I fill up at the Chevron here. I've not seen the gas prices come down here in Idaho at the Chevron. I have seen them come down at Walmart and Maverick. The prices are now down under $3 a gallon. Is that because of Trump? Is that because of Biden? Is that because of Russia? Hell, I don't know at this point. I know that that Trump is also filling up our reserves. So that, to me, that's a good thing, and that might be a bad thing because we use those for what? For war, and filling those things back up with everything that's going on in the Middle East and Ukraine. It's very concerning to me. I am concerned about what's going on in the world stage when it comes to conflict, and I don't think that we're immune to any of that stuff, Jeff.
No, and why we're looking at, Ukraine and all the European and the NATO nonsense, just keep in the back of your mind, too, that there still is an active fatwa on Donald Trump in the United States for taking out Soleimani, that the Iranians and the imams have said, they're going to bring it here. In the last 4 years, allowed them to move individuals into the country.
Yeah. liberals don't deserve the checks. We are around $3.13 a gallon in New York. That's a big deal. That's, in my opinion, that's pretty cheap in New York. I know California. At one time was what, up to like 7, 9. I think I reported one year it was up to 9, almost $10 a gallon for fuel there in California. And
That's Hawaiian prices right there.
yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy fuel prices. Mike Epstein list is coming out. They are having to redact all the personal information, all the victims, and it's taking some time to do. Now, I would agree with that with Conservative Cowboy, and Conservative Cowboy puts out some really great information. The response by Canada proven we are not immune, even though they caved, they could have had some impact on our economy. That's John H. Thanks for joining us to this evening, John H. I don't know. There's just so much going on.
Yeah.
This is going to be fun to come on once a week with you, Jeff B., and just talk about what's going on even in that day, let alone 2 days prior or the week before. Right. There's just so much stuff going on, and I hope that we do start seeing some major relief as Americans at the gas pump, at the grocery store, paying rent, whatever. Let's see, gas is $2.78 in Dallas, Texas. So some people are saying the gas prices are coming down. I've seen other people say they're not, and I've seen other people say that, and maybe it just hasn't got to them yet. I don't know, Jeff.
And I don't know if we touched on this in a live show or not, or if I'd even mentioned. I think I mentioned it to you. I'm still kind of interested in which senator was arrested, because the FBI did put out a statement stating that a senator was arrested for a $50,000 bribe from an undercover agent. And that was an FBI press release within
that was like 2 days ago, right?
Yes.
I believe it was 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And I think Cash Patel put something like that out.
Yes, he did. And he said at this time it's going to be an unnamed senator. So now here's my conspiracy. Could have been possibly Al Green, because the Speaker of the House called the Senate Master at Arms and took him out. I don't know. But, I mean, the FBI did make a press release on it. So we do know there's something happening. Just don't know how big or how small.
Yeah, it's it just doesn't cease to amaze me. Every day I get to wake up and there's going to be something interesting to read about. People send me stuff all the time. Hey, Skip, how's it doing, buddy? My brother Skip is in there here from Idaho, so it's good to see him.
Sorry about your luck, Skip.
Yeah. Well, I think it's about time to get out of here, Jeff. Is there anything else that you want to throw out there before we leave? Any mic drops? And then we'll get out of here and plan something for next week.
Elon's not president.
Elon's not president. You know what? Speaking of Elon, just real quick, it irritates the shit out of me that there are people out there, and maybe I'm being biased, but I don't see Republicans or conservatives out there burning cities down, assaulting police officers, even though they claim that we did in the Capitol on J6. I don't know how much of that's really true, or if those were 26 FBI agents starting shit. I don't know. Right. But we didn't burn entire country or parts of country to the ground in 2020 over a criminal. And I don't see us being destructive, but yet during the summer of 2020, people fought over a criminal, burned police stations to the ground, burned parts of the country, took over city blocks that summer, attacked churches, attacked, government buildings, and now they are out there destroying private property owned by Elon Musk. And what I'm talking about is there were gun shots. There were people shooting at Teslas, I think was it California or something?
Yeah, an 18-year-old girl.
Yeah, she got arrested, and then I heard that earlier today, there was another gentleman in New York or somewhere destroying private property, Elon Musk Teslas, and that's just so foolish. And it's sad to see the left, go to those extremes to try to get a point
Right.
across, and it's crazy.
And I guess my final thought is, and we didn't get to touch on it. And I told you right before, Cash Patel had released about the pipe bomb on J6.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
And you remember we did, I think it was a day or two after that, and I had told you that there was on J6, there was an operation at the DNC due to the meeting that was held at the Naval Observatory. Boy, it looks like I was right again.
Well,
It wasn't a conspiracy. It was now released.
A lot of things that were claimed conspiracy have obviously manifested. So
Right. Absolutely.
and I think we'll see more to come. So thanks
I
for
think
joining
so.
us tonight, Jeff.
Yes.
I really appreciate
Absolutely.
it. We'll be in contact. We're gonna play the intro for the outro on the way out tonight. I love that song. It was performed for us, and produced by War Machine. And we'll be excited to let you guys know when Jeff B will be back sometime next week. We're trying to get our schedule together, and I'll get a schedule nailed down for Jeff so you guys know exactly which night he'll come on with me, and we'll just have more great conversations and get perspectives. So thanks for joining us, Jeff.
Sure.
Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. I think we had close to 200 people over on Rumble this evening. Hit that like button before you jump out of Rumble. Subscribe to us if you haven't subscribed, and share us out. And thank you to the other 100 people that we had here on Facebook and YouTube tonight. YouTube, we're struggling. We're trying to get back to YouTube. I've nuked the last channel we had. We've been censored. We've been canceled. We've been shut down. We've been shadow banned by YouTube for many years. We had a channel as big as 20,000 subscribers on YouTube, and they took it away from me. And so we're rebuilding from the ashes on YouTube. So anybody who can jump over to YouTube and subscribe to us and share us out, and allow other people to find us, to find Jeff B, to help build up YouTube, that would be much appreciated. And same with Facebook. We're getting close to 15,000 subscribers. I think we need 160 more subscribers on Facebook, and we'll break 15,000, which is amazing. We've come 5,000 subscribers in little less than 2 months. So greatly appreciated. And again, thank you guys for supporting us as well financially. I know Chase, I said it again, I'll say it one more time. Chase and Carlene, thank you so much for the coffees tonight. They said the best is yet to come, and I believe that too. I believe that we are going to enter into the golden years, God willing, and as long as we continue to fight, I think that we can see an America that we can be proud of again, and an America that is great for everyone in America, not just a few, not just some, but all of us can have a great life here in America yet again. And I want to be part of that. So thank you for subscribing. Thank you for being part of LWN Network. Some of you have been with us from day one. Some of you just found us, and love each and every one of you. And thank you for just being here and supporting us. Thank you to all the great mods, and to our producers behind the scenes, and to great co-host Tammy Nation. Thank you so much. And our producers are kicking ass, taking names, and War Machine doing an awesome job as well. So with that being said, we're going to leave tonight with the intro for the outro. You know what? I don't think we're going to do anything except for headline hits tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Tammy Nation. So don't miss that tomorrow. And then I'm going to try to do a show Sunday evening, but that'll probably be the next one. So with that being said, God bless you. We'll catch you on the next one.
use running. If you do, you won't survive. People are sick and people are tired, but inside of me rages a fire. We the people are going to burn this corruption to the ground. Yeah, we the people will fight fire with fire starting now. You can see every day more and more people like me are breaking the chains of slavery. America's at a breaking point. Once we strike that match, there's no way to turn back. We the people are gonna burn this corruption to the ground. Yeah, we the people will fight fire with fire starting now. We the people are going to burn this corruption to the ground. Yeah, we the people will fight fire with fire.